Welcome to the Old Time Radio Westerns. I'm your host, Andrew Rhynes, and I'm excited to bring you another episode absolutely free. This is one of over 80 episodes released monthly for your enjoyment. Now, let's get into this episode.
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver. Let's go, big fellow. Hi-Yo Silver! Away!
The Lone Ranger and Tonto were on their way to the Masked Man Silver Mine. Their route took them close to the mission of a good friend, the Padre, so they stopped to pay their respects.
Will your trip take you near the town of Box Creek?
It'll not be much out of our way to visit Box Creek, Padre. Even if it were, it wouldn't matter if there was something Tonto and I could do for you.
What you do to help others, my son, you do for me. Have I ever spoken to you of an Indian boy called Little Wolf?
Little Wolf. Well, the name isn't familiar to me.
Or perhaps his newer name, given him by his foster father, Charlie Judd.
No, Padre.
We never hear name.
Charlie is now 19 years old. He was brought up and educated in a mission like this one by a good friend of mine. His education is better than that of many white men. He speaks many Indian dialects, as well as English and Spanish. When he was 15, he was adopted by David Judd, who lives at Box Creek.
I see.
Many of us who knew Charlie hoped he would become a great leader of both white men and Indians. One who could do much to bring about peaceful settlements of many controversies.
An educated man who knows and understands both white men and Indians would accomplish much for the West.
Charlie can accomplish much. He's brave and strong and fearless. He's brilliant and ambitious, but perhaps too ambitious.
Well, what do you mean, Padre?
I've had word from Box Creek that saddens me. I pray that what I hear may not be true.
And what is that?
That Charlie has become associated with bad companions, with older men suspected of several crimes.
Do you want Tonto and me to learn the truth about Charlie?
More than that, my son. If Charlie is on the wrong path, try to put him straight. He is one on whom I have counted for great things.
That night, while the Lone Ranger and Tonto were on their way to Box Creek, Charlie Judd and 3 men were working by the dim light of a carefully shaded lantern on a big iron safe. The safe was in the Box Creek bank.
I'm ready for the blasting powder.
Here it is, Bart. Fuse is all fixed.
How's the Indian doing?
Well, speak up, Charlie. How you doing? You nervous on your first bank job?
No, Steve, I'm not nervous.
This is the night you prove yourself, kid. After this job, you travel with me and Bart and Steve.
Charlie, you light the fuse.
Right.
You two get over behind the desk and crouch down. All right. And be sure you leave room enough for me and Charlie. As soon as the door's blown off, work fast.
It's lighted.
All right, grab the lantern and come on. Now move fast. Step lively. Fuse is plenty short. Keep your head down.
Yeah, this ought to be a good haul.
She's due to go.
Boy, that did it.
All right, come on. Let's clean out the safe.
It's smoky.
Never mind the smoke. Hold that sack open, Charlie.
Right.
We'll toss in the money. Steve, you and Windy watch the door. That explosion will bring people on the run.
Charlie the Indian worked with the cool efficiency of a seasoned outlaw. He held the sack while Bart filled it with bundled money from the safe. The robbery was conducted on a schedule of split-second timing. By the time the first of those who heard the explosion reached the vicinity of the bank, the 4 robbers were through a rear window where horses were waiting.
There they are. They got horses. Open fire. Let them have it. Ah, they got away. Anyone see them close? Not me. I didn't.
I couldn't see what they looked like. It was too dark.
Well, no use trying to chase them on foot.
But we got to do something, Sheriff. We can't let them get away with all the money in town.
I'll swear in a posse, and we'll do what we can.
After their successful getaway, the 4 thieves split up to more easily evade pursuit. Each went in a different direction with plans to meet the next day and divide the loot. Charlie the Indian returned to the home of his foster parents, David and Mary Judd. The Lone Ranger and Tonto reached the vicinity of Box Creek on the day after the bank robbery. Tonto went into town, made inquiry, and learned the location of the small Judd ranch not far away. 15 minutes later, the masked man and Tonto approached a neat white house. They saw a saddled horse at ground hitch near the front porch. They drew rein beside the house and dismounted. As they walked toward the rear, they heard voices coming through the open kitchen door. They paused.
Charlie, please don't go away. Don't leave home with those men.
Hear that, Tonto?
Mother, I know what I'm doing.
We'll move near, Tonto.
Bart Walton is a crook. Everyone says so.
No man can be made crooked by what people say. Bart Walton is headed for big money, and I'm going with him. But I'm not going to do anything crooked, so please trust me, Mother.
But your father needs you, Charlie. He needs your help on the ranch.
I'm old enough to know my own mind. Now, please, Mother, try to understand and try to trust me. Goodbye.
Sounds as if Charlie's leaving home. That horse we saw in front must belong to him.
That's right.
He went out the front door. Come along, Tonto. We'll call on Mrs. Judd. Hey, wait here, Tonto. I'll go in. Mrs. Judd.
What? A mask?
Please listen to me.
I suppose you're another one of Bart Walton's crooked pals.
No, Mrs. Judd. A padre told me about your son. As for Walton, I think most men know his reputation. How long has Charlie known him?
I don't know how long it's been going on. For some time, Charlie's been talking about outlaws. He's been reading all the old newspapers in the Beacon office. Accounts of the crimes in this part of the country. Men who were arrested and released for lack of evidence. He's been seeing more and more of no-account men in the cafe. Talking a lot about how many robberies are committed and how few thieves are caught. Talking about the failure of the law. I don't know what made Charlie change. He was always such a fine boy.
Has he left home for good?
I don't know what to think. But why am I talking to you like this? I don't know you. You're wearing a mask. A mask like an outlaw.
I'm going to try very hard to see that you don't regret talking to me, Mrs. Judd. And as for
You
Charlie...
did say you talked to the padre, didn't you?
Yes. And the padre asked me to help your son get back on the right road.
You could do that, stranger. If If you could get Charlie back like he used to be, I'd remember you in my prayers for the rest of my life.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto rode away from the Judd Ranch to the shelter of a nearby woods. When they dismounted, Tonto looked at his masked friend and said,
What we do now, Kimasabi?
Tonto, I want to find out if Charlie's really involved with Bart Walton. I'm going to follow his trail.
Him start from house and ride south. Tracks show him plenty clear. Maybe later, not so clear.
You have some extra clothing in your saddlebags, Tonto.
That's right.
I want to borrow a suit of your buckskin. While you're getting it out, I'll darken my face with stain.
You fix up like Indian?
Yes. I tried a long time ago to get evidence to jail Bart Walton. I failed. If he sees me in my own gear, he'll shoot on sight.
Maybe good idea you ride scout instead of silver.
That's a good suggestion, Tonto. I'll do it.
Me help fix up like Indian.
At first, the Lone Ranger and Tonto had little difficulty in following Charlie's trail, but it soon became obvious that the Indian intended to avoid pursuit if possible. He traveled in a roundabout route and rode over ground unsuited for tracking. The masked man and Tonto met with increasingly frequent delays and lost a great deal of time. Finally, the tracks led into a stream.
Oh, Scout.
Oh, silver.
He probably traveled in the water from here on, Tonto.
We not know which way.
They'll have to separate. You go downstream. I'll go in the opposite direction. Come on, Scout.
No one suspected that Charlie was in a secret alliance with the sheriff. The sheriff was reasonably sure that Bart Walton had led a number of robberies and that his hideout was in the vicinity of a tree-covered valley. But he had been unable to get evidence against the crooks, so he had enlisted the aid of the young Indian. Charlie was to join the gang if possible. If he learned anything, his instructions were to leave a message in a huge hollow tree, a landmark in the area, where the sheriff would find it. Charlie was somewhat dismayed when he learned that the camp of the outlaws was dangerously close to the hollow tree, but he had to obey the sheriff's orders. In camp, he talked to Bart, Windy, and Steve for a time, then feigned an excuse and moved away on foot. He sat down beside the hollow tree a couple of 100 yards from the camp. He wrote a note, was about to shove it inside the tree trunk, when a voice spoke sharply.
Hold it. Huh? Oh, it's you, Steve.
Yeah. Boss is always curious when one of the gang slips away by himself. Especially when he gets to writing notes.
Oh.
I'll take it, Charlie.
Well, now, wait, Steve.
I said I'll take it. And likewise your gun.
But this isn't...
Give me that. Now, the gun.
All right. You win.
Draw slow and drop it to the ground. That's it. Back off a few steps. Have a look at what you've been writing.
You may be surprised.
So.
Now you know.
Yeah. Now I know. And Charlie, Bart won't like this.
Windy had moved away from camp to watch the trail that led into the clearing. Bart, seated near a lean-to, looked up curiously when he saw Charlie Judd approach, followed by Steve holding a gun and a note. Steve explained how he had caught Charlie about to put the note inside the hollow tree.
Here's the note he was writing, Bart. It'll open your eyes.
Read it to me.
Now, you better keep him covered while I'm doing it. This is addressed to Sheriff Parkinson.
Yeah?
Yeah, listen. Plans have worked out first rate. I've been accepted as a member of the gang and have learned where the loot of the Wells Fargo robbery, Sagebrush stage holdup, and the Parker City Bank robbery is hidden.
Why,
Oh, wait a minute. There's more.
Finish it.
Yeah. The hideout is not far from this tree.
So you've been working for the law.
Now, look, there's more, Bart.
I've heard enough. Why, you double-crosser. Make out like you want to join us, huh? Help us with a bank job to win our confidence. Well, we know how to deal with double-crossers. Time to that tree, Steve. I'll give him a bullet where it'll hurt the most.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger adventure. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue. The Lone Ranger, dressed in Tonto's buckskins, had darkened his complexion to pose as an Indian while he followed the trail of Charlie Judd. He found the place where Charlie's horse had left a creek and followed the tracks a short distance into a woods. He was about to turn back and get Tonto when he heard a sharp command.
Get him up, Redskin. You're covered. Rein in and raise your hands.
What matter?
What are you doing in these parts?
Maybe me ask you same question.
The difference being I'm the one holding the gun, so you're the one who has to answer questions. But save the explanation for a few minutes. Then buckle your guns and drop them to the ground.
You hold up Indian. You not get rich that way.
I said drop the guns.
Oh.
Yeah, that's better. I'll take them. Mighty fancy hardware for a redskin. Now get off the horse.
Oh, Suma.
You take orders, I'll say that for you. Walk straight ahead of me into the camp.
My horse.
I'll lead him. Get going. Right.
The Lone Ranger, disguised as an Indian, held his hands at shoulder level while he walked ahead of Windy through the woods. When he came to the clearing, he was surprised to see Charlie tied to a tree. Windy was equally surprised.
Hey, Bart, what's Charlie tied up for?
It's a double cross.
Hey, who's that redskin?
He was coming this way, so I disarmed him and brought him here. Couldn't risk having a snooper find our camp.
Was he heading toward the hollow pine tree?
No, why?
Thought he might be a messenger from the sheriff, working with Charlie.
Huh?
Charlie was working for the sheriff.
He was? How do you mean?
He did that bank job with us last night just to win our confidence. As soon as he learned where we hid our stuff, he wrote a note to the sheriff.
And I caught him trying to hide it in the hollow pine tree.
So you're a double-crosser, huh, Charlie?
Yeah, here's the note he wrote.
Of all the ornery polecats double-cross us, why you...
Hold it, Windy. I was just about to shoot him myself when we heard that horse approaching. Figured we'd wait and see who it was coming.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that redskin came here to get any message Charlie might have left. Well, did you?
Me not know about message.
What's your name?
Indian name plenty long. Not mean anything to you.
Answer my question.
The Lone Ranger looked directly into Charlie's eyes before he replied to Bart. Then he spoke slowly and pointedly and hoped the outlaws didn't know the Indian dialect he used.
Ku Leila. Togemga. Lo te sabe.
He was gratified to see the faintest change in expression cross the face of the bound captive.
That's your name, huh? What are you doing around here?
Me not do anything. Not hurt anyone.
I'd like to know where you got a pair of guns like these.
Man give guns to me.
Yeah, likely you took them from him after you'd killed him.
I think he's working with Charlie.
No, that's not true.
Actually, you'd lie about it. But it seems to me to be real logical for the sheriff to send a redskin like you to pick up any message that was left in the hollow tree.
We'll soon find out if he's in cahoots with Charlie. Come over here, Redskin.
Huh?
I'll dump the cartridges out of my gun and reload with a single shot. You know what you're going to do?
What me do?
You're going to shoot that critter tied to the tree.
Me not like shoot helpless man.
I don't care what you like.
In the meantime, Charlie's foster father had returned to the house from an inspection of his line fence. His wife told him of the departure of the adopted son.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Mary. Mighty sorry.
I didn't want to speak about it, Dave, but for some time past I've been noticing a change in Charlie. He's been spending a lot of time studying crimes that were committed around Box Creek.
He told you he was going away from here with Bart Walton and a couple of the others?
Yes, and you know they're no good.
Well, a couple of the boys at the cafe told me Charlie had been spending time with Walton. Maybe he's just got the wanderlust, Mary. Maybe being an Indian, he just can't stand being tied down in one place.
Wish I could be sure that was it.
Or maybe he just wants more excitement than ranch life can give him. You don't think so?
I might think that, Dave, if Charlie hadn't told me he was meeting Bart Walton. I can't help remembering something he said a few weeks ago.
What was that?
He said there's a lot of men in the West who are bigger than the law. He said they'd proved it time and time again. And he mentioned several robberies in these parts where the crooks had gotten away with a lot of money. He showed me a copy of the newspaper and pointed out the account of the Wells Fargo robbery. He said that a man would have to work a lifetime on a ranch to make the same amount of money as the crooks made in that robbery.
Well, that's downright curious talk, Mary.
Yes, I know it.
I can't savvy Charlie talking like that.
You sit still, dear. I'll see who 'tis.
Howdy, Mrs. Judd.
Oh, Deputy Jackson.
Mind if I step in?
Well, come in, Jackson. I thought you were up with the sheriff's posse looking for last night's bank thief.
Nope, I didn't ride with the posse. I've spent the day studying the bank and the ground around it for clues. Where's Johnny?
Why, he's left town.
You know where he went?
No.
Why, is anything wrong, Deputy Jackson?
The bank robbers scooped up some soft mud to pack their blasting powder up close to the lock on the bank vault.
Yeah? Well, what about it?
I found the place where that mud was scooped up, and I found something else. Here's a hunk of polished quartz. Looks like it'd been ground down to fit a ring.
Oh.
You recognize it, Mrs. Judd?
Well,
Several of the men around town remember seeing a ring on Charlie's finger.
Well, it doesn't mean a thing. Charlie might have lost that stone without having a hand in the bank robbery.
You're sure neither of you knows where he is?
I wish I did.
He didn't say where he was going. If I knew, Deputy, I'd tell you. I'd rather see Charlie do a jail term for robbery than follow the outlaw trail until it leads to a hangman.
The Lone Ranger, disguised as an Indian, held Bart Walton's gun, which had been loaded with a single bullet. He was closely watched by Bart holding another gun, and Steve, whose hand rested on his holster. Windy still held the Lone Ranger's gun belt with its twin holsters and Colts.
Need to shoot that boy, Injun. Otherwise, we'll be convinced you're lying to us.
Shoot him and we'll know you're not working with him.
Otake, la tume.
What'd you say?
Me shoot, but first cut feller loose from tree. Indian not shoot man whose hands tied.
All right. Cut the rope, Steve.
Right, Mark.
Sutuma, setkin huse, maki, si tu.
Gola, Tango.
What's that Injun talk between these two?
I'm ready. Go ahead and shoot. Hands and feet are free.
Me shoot.
Good work, Redskin. You got him.
Always good, make sure. Man dead. Now me put bullet through head.
There was only one bullet in the gun I gave you.
Me know. You give back Indian guns. Me fix feller on ground.
The Lone Ranger tossed Bart Walton's pistol on the ground, then turned toward Windy. He was so casual and assured in drawing his own guns from the holsters that neither Windy nor the other outlaws objected. When his guns were in his hands, his manner changed abruptly.
Raise your hand.
You think I'm... No! Bart, look out! No!
Bart was about to fire, but the Lone Ranger shot first. His bullet broke Bart's arm.
Either of you two want to try a shot?
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Hey, if you're going loco, what's the matter with you? Hey, that critter's no Injun.
My arm's busted. Kill that arm!
On your feet, Charlie.
Right.
Hey, look, Charlie's getting up. He ain't hurt.
I'm with you, partner. I have the gun bar dropped.
You double-crossed us.
You bet he did.
I'll cover them, Charlie. You disarm them.
Right. All right, William Crooks understood the language of my father's people. You'd have known what to expect. He told me he was on my side, the side of the law. He said he'd shoot past me, but I was to fall as if I'd taken a bullet in the heart.
Look, my arm's killing me. Can't someone help me?
We'll patch it up when the hands of your friends are tied. Find some rope, Charlie.
Wait. Someone's coming. I hear a horse.
Yeah, so do I.
Maybe it's one of Walton's friends.
No, Charlie, it's one of my friends, and he's riding my horse. You can see him now.
Oh, Silver. Oh. You hear gunshot. Come fast.
Tonto, you must have followed the stream a long way.
That's right. Me find waterfall. Me no crooks, not go that way. Me come back. Go upstream.
You're just in time to help tie 3 outlaws. Tie their hands behind their backs, and Charlie can take them into town.
But they're your prisoners. And there are rewards for their capture with proof that they committed certain crimes.
You're the one who has the proof, Charlie. You know where the stolen money is hidden. You can testify against them in court.
Yes, but if it hadn't been for you...
We'll follow you and the outlaws to make sure you get them to town without trouble. After that, we must return to the mission and tell the Padre Charlie Judd is on the right side of the law. Then, Tonto, we'll go on to the silver mine to see our old friend Jim and get a supply of silver bullets.
Hey, Sheriff, come here. Come here in a hurry.
The sheriff's deputy was the first to see 3 outlaws riding into town in single file, with their hands tied behind their backs, and Charlie following with a gun. His shout of surprise brought a number of people on the run, including the sheriff and Charlie's foster parents.
Charlie, you're bringing these critters in. What about the evidence?
You get all the evidence you want, Sheriff. Evidence in the form of the cash and bonds these men stole. From Wells Fargo, from the Sagebrush Stage, and the Parker City Bank. And the bank right here in town.
What?
Hey, Deputy. Yeah? Take over and get these hombres into jail.
Charlie Judd was with us on that job last night. He's got to go to jail if we do.
Save your breath, Steve. All right, Jackson, take him.
Right, Sheriff.
Charlie came to me some time ago and said the Lord better find a way to jail crooks around this part of the country before young fellas got the wrong idea.
Sheriff, did Charlie say that?
He sure did, Judd. He had a suggestion, too. He said he'd try to join up with Bart Walton's gang to get the evidence.
You hear that, Mary? You hear that? Our boy has been all right from the start.
Then why didn't you tell me what you were doing?
Mother, the sheriff made me promise to tell no one.
But you could have trusted your father
I promised the sheriff I'd keep it a secret. I couldn't break my word.
Charlie, you'll have some reward money coming.
No, Sheriff, I don't really deserve the rewards. These crooks found out about me. They'd have killed me if it hadn't been for a man who owns a big white horse he called Silver.
That man came to the house, Charlie, just after you left.
Was he dressed like an Indian?
No, he wasn't. He wore a mask. But he had a horse called Silver, and there was an Indian with him. An Indian named Tonto.
The rewards are yours, Charlie. If that masked man rides a white horse called Silver, he wouldn't lay claim to any reward. He's the Lone Ranger.
This is a feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated, created by George W. Trendle, produced by Trendle Campbell Enterprises, and directed by Charles D. Livingston. Tonight's drama was written by Fran Stryker. The part of the Lone Ranger is played by Brace Beamer.
This has been a presentation of OTRWesterns.com, and we hope you enjoyed. Please take some time to like and rate this episode within your favorite podcast application. Follow us on Facebook by going to OTRWesterns.com/Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to OTRWesterns.com/YouTube. Become one of our ranch hands and unlock some exclusive content. We want to thank our most recent ranch hands, Steve, Technogod, and Craig, who joined us recently. You too can join by going to OTRWesterns.com/donate. Send us an email, podcast@OTRWesterns.com, and you can call and leave us a voicemail, 707-986-8739. This episode is copyrighted under the attribution, non-commercial, share-alike copyright. For more information, go to OTRWesterns.com/copyright. Have a great day, and thanks for listening.